So welcome, this is the second part of our part 3 video. In this video we're just going to finish creating the skeleton with our CSS, and I've got some concept checking questions so that I know that you have consolidated the techniques that we have learned in these two videos. Okay, so on the left, this is our finished product. This is our destination, where we want to get to. In the previous video, what we created was a skeleton container. Within that skeleton container, we had a head container that we changed to a circle shape. Within that head container, we had the eye container, and with those eye container, we had two eyes. Now, we used the flex layout to create this layout. So again, if you would like to know how we've achieved this, go back to the previous video, the part 3 video. If you would like to continue on to see how we can create the rest of the skeleton, let's continue watching. Okay, so we're going to be using our layout that we created in the first video. If you're unsure about the layout and how I'm using it, go back to the first video and I will show you how I created this. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be moving on to the nose section of the CSS. Okay, so as you can see, because of the head section, it is using the column flex direction method, and it's also using flex start to align it. However, we do want a little bit of a gap there. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to add that gap in manually by doing the margin top, and I'm going to put maybe 15 to add that in. Okay, now what I would like to do is add the triangle for our nose for the skeleton. So to do this, I'm going to do it first and then explain it a little bit more afterwards. So I'm going to set the width of the box to 0 and then use borders to make the shape. So the first border that I need is the border left. And what I want to say is it's going to extend to 70. It's going to be solid, but it's going to also be transparent. The border right, again, I'm going to extend it by 70. It's going to be solid, but also transparent. And the last one is the border bottom. This will be extended a little further, so let's say 200, and it's also going to be solid, and it's going to be the color black. So that's how you make a triangle. Let's kind of go and explain that a little bit more about how that makes that triangle. Okay, so we're looking at the border properties. So the first thing we need to look at is how the border works. So that first property, that 70 that I put, it's telling me how thick I want this border. Now it's important to show how that border actually works. So it doesn't go straight up to the border and stop like this. So this is not what happens. What happens is it goes all the way around. So that corner here, that corner is also part of the border. Now that's important because it allows us to make this triangle shape. So you can't see it because it's all one color, but what happens is if you change one of the borders to a different color, you'll see in the edge here, what happens is half of that is the border that you've put up here, the border color that you put up here, the other half is the border color you put here. So it makes like a straight line there, a straight line that we could use to create a triangle. Because what we can do is the smaller that we make the box, the pointier it will be. So this is just a smaller box, but to make a triangle, if you make that to 0, it will start off as a singular thing, and then because you've ordered you've created a border on the right, it will create that line. So it'll start off with a singular point and then expand out. And then what we can do is we make the border on the right transparent. So what happens is we start off with a singular line, it expands out, but we can't see the other border. So if we do it on both sides, it will make that triangle shape that we want. So the important thing here is to first make sure it's 0. So that means that we start off at a singular point and it's not thick like this. We have a border on 2 sides, and this border is set transparent, but it's also solid. And then if we want to make a long triangle, we extend our border further. If we want to make a short triangle, we make our border thinner. So that is the border properties, and that's how we can make our triangle. Okay, so now that we've done the nose and we've done the heads and eyes, we can go on the neck and the mouth to finish it off. So if we go to the neck, the basic information is that the background color is white. What else? We need to create a size for it. So let's put the height, and I'm just going to create 500 for now and then change it if it doesn't look good. The width, I'm going to change it to 500 again. If it doesn't look good, I'll change it a bit later. If we look inside it, there is only one box inside the mouth. However, the mouth is vertically center and horizontally center. Now, to get it vertically in center and horizontally center, it might be a good idea to use the flex, as it will be easy. So again, I'm going to use flex here because I want to position it. And let's use the flex direction as row, so I don't need to add that because it's default. The justified content, again, it's the horizontal line. I want that to be center, and I would like the align items to be center, because it is the vertical line. So now what we need to do is manually position it so it overlaps the head. So do remember that it's in the skeleton box. So we've got the row. So what the flex property will try and do is it will try and place it here. Now we don't want that, so we want to first push it down. So we first want to push it down. So we know how to push it down. We can use the margin top. So we need to push it down. So again, let's push it down to 800 because we want to get it quite close to the bottom. And now we want to push it left. To do this, we need to do the margin left, but instead of positive, we need to do it negative. So let's say 700. So that's pushing the box left. Now, this is where we will have to kind of do some experiments. So I'm going to save it and have a look and see how accurate it is, and then change those numbers to try and get it the position I want. So let's save it and have a look. Okay, so we're looking at the website. You can see that it is overlapping, but it's not really in the angle that I want. So I need to push it further left a little bit, and I think I'm going to push it further down. So I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to stop the video, and I'm going to try and find the numbers that I need to get it where I want. But importantly, what I'm going to just be doing is, if I want to move it left, then I'm going to be increasing this minus number to push it left. And if I want to move it further down, then I'll be increasing the margin top. So I'm going to pause the video and find the numbers that best fit the design that I'm trying to make. Okay, so I think this looks a bit better now. So what I did is I just pushed it left a little bit by increasing that number, and pushed it down a little bit by increasing that number. Now all that we need to do is add the mouth. So let's go back to the layout, have a look. Okay, so the mouth is just black, so we go down to the mouth and we change it to background color black. And we need to add the height. So the neck height is 500. So let's change that to 400. And the width, the neck width is 500. So maybe let's change that to 350. Again, if it doesn't look good, I can change that a bit later. So let's save it and see how it looks. Okay, the last thing I need to do is add the background texture to the head and the neck. And so I've gone online and I've downloaded a texture PNG image, so it's transparent, and I've saved it to my CSS folder. So all I need to do is add that. So again, if it's in the background image, and I'm going to use the URL, and the the file name is called skulls PNG, and so that has been added to the head, and I just need to add it to the neck. So again, I've just gone online and I searched for this texture. So let's save it and have a look. Okay, so there you have it, the skeleton that we have created, and we've done it by creating a skeleton container. Within that skeleton container, we had a head container, which contained eye container and had 2 eyes. The nose was put into the head container, and the neck was put into the skeleton container, and then inside the neck container there was a mouth. So we've done a lot of containers within containers here. So this is a good way of figuring out how Flex works and putting it in your head, or having these ideas in your head when planning it. So next video we're going to be looking at how to add that animation, that fire in our skeleton. Okay, before we stop, I would like to ask you a quick concept checking question. Your task is to create the layout using the techniques and properties that we've covered in these videos. So I would like you to try and create the head, the eyeball, and the eye, as well as a mouth. So you must create both the HTML and CSS file. So pause the video, try and create it, and then look at my finished results to compare. Okay, so hopefully you've paused the video. Let's compare your work with my work. So this is my basic HTML file. These are the containers that I've added, very similar to the skeleton. This is the CSS. I've used, again, Flex to organize it. Have a look and compare. See how your work differs with mine. And then that is the result that I got using this code and this code. Okay, so that is all for this video. Thank you very much. If you found this helpful at all, please subscribe, because I would like to continue making projects in the future. The future videos for this series is that we still need to plan the layout for the file and then create the fire with our CSS. So that's going to be using animation for our CSS. But again, you have my plan. You know where we're going with this project. So feel free to try and create it yourself before viewing the next video. So thank you very much and goodbye.